Hi guys, and welcome to week 3, session 1. Within this week we're going to be focusing on our dynamic balance and how it allows us to flow from movement to movement. Like always, we'll start with our warm-up. The first position we will be doing is the cat-cow pose. When you are ready, let's get into our tabletop position. As we move into cow pose, push our belly button towards the floor, lifting our chin so that our gaze is high up against the wall. As we move into cat pose, tuck our chin to our chest, rippling through our spine. We want to make sure that we are pushing up through our shoulders so we feel the stretch within our back. When you are ready, push your belly button to the floor and tilt our pelvis backwards. Lift our chin from our chest to look up against the wall again. As we move into cat pose again, tuck our chin to our chest, arching our back. When you are ready, push your belly button through to the floor and bring your chin from your chest to look up at the sky. We want to make sure that we are pushing through our shoulders and not letting them drop. As we move into cat position, tuck our chin to our chest, tucking our pelvis under and arching our back. As we move into cow position for the final time, lift our chin, pushing our belly button to the floor. When you are ready, bring your chin to your chest, rippling through your spine to tuck our bum under. Well done, take yourself back to neutral. That's the exercise over. We're now going to make the warm-up a bit more complex, so we're going to be doing child's pose into up dog and then flowing back into downward dog. When you are ready, get into your tabletop position. First we will be moving into our child's pose, so drop your bum back to your heels. We want to make sure that we're feeling the stretch from our fingers down to our bum. When you are ready, we're going to push our hips forward and straighten our arms, taking ourselves into up dog. As we move into downward dog, tuck our toes under, move our weight towards our knees before pushing our bum to the sky. We want to try and make sure that our ears are between our arms or just slightly further forward. We want to be able to feel this stretch along the back of our hamstrings. When you are ready, we're going to drop our knees to the floor, putting ourselves back into up dog. As we move from up dog to child's pose, we want to push our hips back towards our heel and making sure that our arms are straight. We are now going to repeat it all again. So when you're ready, push your hips forward into up dog, making sure that our arms are straight and that we are trying to push our hips towards the floor. As we move into downward dog, tuck our toes under and push up through our legs so that our bum is high in the sky. When you are ready, take our hips towards the ground, flowing through back into up dog. As we move into child's pose for the final time, push our hips back towards our bum and feel the stretch from your fingertips to your bum. Well done, that is this exercise over. And now for the main session. For the first exercise we will be flowing from mountain pose into tree pose and then into warrior 2. For the first position of this sequence, we're going to be getting into our mountain pose. We want to relax from our head to our toe and make sure that we are grounded to the floor through our feet. When you are ready, adjust your weight so that you are going over your left leg. Bring your right foot up and place it near your knee. Take your arms above your head and bring them down into prayer pose. When you are ready, take your right foot and step out into a lunge. We want to make sure that our back foot is still facing forward and that our front foot is facing to the side. Make sure that our knee is going over our toe and that we are looking out over our front fingers. Return back to neutral and get into our mountain pose again. So relax from our heads to our toes and make sure that we are grounded through all parts of our feet. When you are ready, adjust your weight to your right foot and take your left foot towards your knee. Take our arms above our head and bring them down into prayer pose. When you are ready, step out into a lunge with your left foot. Make sure that our knee is going over our toe and that our arms are out to the side and we are looking over our front fingers. When you are ready, return back to our neutral mountain pose. We are now going to complete it again on both sides. When you are ready, adjust your weight onto your left leg and bring your right foot up to your knee. Take your arms above your head and pull them down into prayer pose. Take your right foot and step out into the lunge before bringing your arms out to the sides and deepening the lunge by pushing our knee forward. When you are ready, return back to our neutral mountain pose. Take your weight over onto your right foot before bringing your left foot up towards your knee to take the tree pose for the final time. Bring our arms up and then pull them down to our chest to create our prayer pose. As we step out into the lunge, take our left foot and ground it to the floor. Push our knee forward and make sure that we are keeping our eyes over our front fingertips. Well done, that is this exercise complete. We will now move on to our second sequence, which is the chair pose onto toes into a forward fold. We first want to get into a neutral standing position before taking our arms above our head and bending our knees and hinging at the hips into our chair pose. When you are ready, straighten your knees and then roll through your feet up onto your toes. When ready, return to flat-footed by rolling through our feet. We are now going to hinge at the hips so that we feel the stretch along our hamstrings. If possible, place your hands on the floor, or if not, place your hands on your legs so that you feel comfortable. Move out of the stretch, bend at the knees, and roll up through the spine before taking our arms above our head to return to the chair pose. As we move up onto our toes, straighten our legs and roll through our feet so that we are now balanced. When you are ready, roll back down through the feet to stand flat-footed before hinging at the hips so that our hands are placed on the floor. To move out of this stretch, bend at the knees and roll up through the spine. When you are ready, take yourself back into chair pose. Straighten your legs and roll up through our feet onto our toes. As we flow into the forward bend, roll back down through our feet, hinge at the hips so that our hands are now placed on the floor. When you are ready, bend at the knees and roll up through the spine back into standing. Take our arms above our head and move back into chair pose. When you are ready, straighten your legs and roll back up through your feet onto your toes. And for the final time, roll down through the feet and then hinge at the hips to place our hands on the floor for our forward bend. When you are ready, bend the knees and return to standing. That is this exercise complete. We will now move on to the cool down. The first exercise we will do is the reclining butterfly pose. For this position, we want to be lying on the floor with our knees bent out in front of us. When you are ready, drop your knees to the side and either place your hands on your thighs to push them down further to feel the stretch, or just allow them to rest there. When you are ready, bring your knees back in together. That is this exercise complete. We will now move on to a seated side stretch. For this position, we want to be sat on the floor. Extend your left leg out to the side and place our right foot mid-thigh. When ready, place your arms out to the side, twist so that our body is going over our left leg, and fold forward so that we feel the stretch along our hamstring and up the side that we are bending away from. When you are ready, return back to neutral and swap legs so that our right foot is now out in front of us and that our left foot is on our thigh. Rotate over the leg and stretch towards our toes so that we feel the stretch along our hamstring. When you are ready, slide out the stretch and swap legs so that our left leg is now out to the side. When you are ready, return to neutral sitting and swap so that our right leg is now out in front of us for the final time. When you are ready, return back to neutral sitting. Well done. That is this exercise over and the session completed.